Hello, how you doing?
Hey everybody, hey Ben, you alright?
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us, everybody, today. I don't know if you're going to be the same as us, but we are melting here in the UK. It is very, very hot this evening, isn't it, Darren?
Very hot indeed.
It is. It's really, really warm this evening. So if you're sitting through it, bearing through it like we are, thank you so much for joining us. And, you know, well, straight away, I'm going to just say I'm not really going to be doing much here today. I'm going to be monitoring the chat, and Darren's going to take us through the personalising feedback session we've got for you guys today. There's some fantastic stuff coming up. I don't really want to steal his thunder and sort of give you a preview as to what we're going to be doing, you know, but I'll be monitoring the chat. So if you've got any questions, pop them in, and I'll get them answered as we go through.
Brilliant, lovely. There's questions coming in already about your hair, Ben, whether you've done something to it.
Is there? Oh, I haven't done anything to my hair. No, I mean, I've been in the sun a bit. Maybe it's got. A few people said it to me in the last few days. It got blonder. I don't think it's. I don't know. I don't notice it personally, but yeah, I would say the same to you, Darren. But yeah,
I actually cut mine today, but you know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
Noticing.
That's right, mate. You've got to be careful in the sun, haven't you? So
exactly, I don't go out in it. No. So obviously, yeah, I'm going to take us through tonight about feedback. Hopefully, it looks like I'm about to get a thunderstorm, so hopefully that doesn't cause too many problems for us. But just to make sure Ben's nice and busy, do keep asking questions in the chat, either related to what we're doing tonight, or if you want to know about, you know, best bus routes locally and things like that.
I'll sort them right out.
You know, Ben's the expert. He'll sort you right out. We're going to get started straight away, and we're going to look at tonight kind of two aspects of personalised feedback. And this session really has come off the back of the session I did for GEG UK on the Nice and Slow series with regards to giving personalised feedback, which people kind of dropped into a bit of and wanted to go into a little bit more detail. So thanks to the people that gave us the feedback on that, because that's why we're doing what we're doing tonight. So we're going to look first of all at verbal feedback, and then we're going to look at visual feedback as well. So I'm just going to make sure that we've got my screen shared and everything else, and we have done. And because I'm going to be on screen, Ben, I won't be able to keep an eye on the chat or anything. So just let me know if there's anything. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. So hopefully now you can see my Google slide screen, which has got a piece of work that Ben completed for me a while ago during a Nice and Slow sequence, actually. And it was quite simply, all I wanted him to do was to produce, if you like, a mood board with up to 5 images or multimedia inserts that represented him and how he was feeling at the time. So obviously he wanted 5 husbands at the time, and some pie and mash and liquor. And if you're from America and you don't know what that is, ask Ben in the chat. And he wanted to protect the NHS, but he wanted to stay at home and save lives as well. So we can kind of guess when this piece of work was done. And what I'd like to do is to give Ben some feedback on that. Now, I'm deliberately tonight not going through Google Classroom because I'm aware that not everybody uses Google Classroom. So I just wanted to show how you could do this directly from Google Docs, Google Slides, and so on. Okay. So first of all, obviously, we're all aware that we can, in Google Slides and in Google Docs, highlight anything we want to, and then we can choose to add a comment by just using either Command Option M or Control Option M, or just clicking on the comment box and just add in a comment there, like, for example, what a great idea. Okay, and we can just give written comment. But as we know with students and with social media and texting and everything else, sometimes when you put something in writing, it's very hard to get the sense and the meaning and the intonation of what you want to get across. I have a real problem with being quite sarcastic. I don't know if anybody's noticed. And of course, students generally love sarcastic teachers. Oh, please, can we have some more sarcasm, sir? And I'm never sure if they're winding me up or not. But it is very difficult to tell. So something that might come across in one way as you write it might come across differently to a student. And equally, if you're trying to give them feedback on the way something sounds, then being able to actually speak is a huge advantage, regardless of whether you're in the classroom working with them on a day-to-day basis and you're just marking at home, or whether you are involved in hybrid or distance learning for longer periods of time. And obviously it's valuable that students get to hear your voice as well, because it's very much a case of, you know, they want some kind of connection with people they're familiar with. So instead of commenting, what a great idea like that, which could come across as what a great idea, or what a great idea. So I'm going to get rid of that altogether. And I'm going to go first of all to one particular option, shall we say. And the option I'm going to choose first of all is an extension called Talk and Comment. And it sits just in my sidebar here. So it's called Talk and Comment. It's just sitting up here. Okay, Talk and Comment. And I've switched it on. Okay. And we'll drop the links in the chat and things like that for us later on. And all I need to do, if I want to comment on anything, I can just click on this little speaker. So for example, I can click here. Wow, what a great idea, Ben. And then it will record it. I can preview it. Wow, what a great idea, Ben. And then it gives me that link, which I can then copy and then paste into the comments or anywhere else into the document. So I can paste it into a comment if I want and just pop it in there, and it sits there and the students just listen to it. Or I could even post it in somewhere on here in a text box or whatever to just say, there's my comment going in. Okay, I can do it that way as well. The only difference is when I do it that way, it doesn't become automatically hyperlinked. When we do it this way, it does give you the play button. So it's more obvious that it's something that the students can just click on. Okay, so personally, I don't use this option that I've highlighted here. I tend to just put it into the comments directly. And the students at the other end, they don't need to have the extension at all. They could just click on it. Wow, what a great idea, Ben. And they can then, if they want to, they're in a position to link to the comment and they can reply to it as well. Okay, so Talk and Comment, really, really simple. It does work in all of the Google Suite, and it does work in, what's it called? Google Classroom as well. Okay, so it's useful. You need to obviously check out your own data protection rules depending on where you are. Okay, so check out things like GDPR and whether it a COPPA and so on. And obviously things are rapidly changing. So it's worth just double checking for yourself. And obviously some of you will have districts or schools where things have to be pre-approved. So do bear that in mind. But it's a useful little extension. I believe it only works on desktop and doesn't work on mobiles, but still very useful. Okay, so that's Talk and Comment, which is one way of doing things. The second thing I want to show us is actually, I'm going to jump into one of my other accounts and into my work account, because I want us to look at a particular another option called Read and Write, which is from a company called Texthelp, who you might have heard of with regards to things like Equatio for maths teachers and various other things. So I'm just going to search really quickly here. I meant to do this in advance and completely forgot. I'm going to search for a document that's not owned by me. Keep up.
Oh, it's a bit generic, isn't it?
It is a little bit, yeah. The fan's going and the rain's going outside the window, so it's all good. And I'm just going to find a piece of work that I'm going to use that's okay for me to kind of play around with. As you can see, it's struggling a little bit. but I should be able to find something pretty quickly. There we go. Okay, yeah, let's use, in this case, a piece of artwork. Okay, so I'm going to open up this one here. So here's a piece of artwork. Now, I'm not an art teacher, so I'm not going to be giving fantastic feedback here. But what you can see is that I don't have edit access to it. So there's a bit of an issue there in that I can't comment or anything else on that. But what I could do is I can make a copy of that quite easily. So I'm going to make a copy of baby image. I could request access as well, but I'm not going to do that from the student this time of night, especially during the holidays. Okay, so I've got my copy of this baby image, which is just opening up now. And I've got in my toolbar here my read and write extension. So I'm just going to click on that, and that's going to drop down my read and write toolbar. Now, if you've never used read and write before, it's a fantastic tool in terms of accessibility, because you've got things like here, spell checkers, text prediction. You can look things up in the dictionary. You can use a picture dictionary. You can play what's in there, so you can have it read aloud to you. So it screen reads. You can do screenshot reading. You can make your own audio for it. You can do screen masking. So if you want to focus on a particular area of the screen, you can do that quite easily to help people focus. Okay. You can also talk and type. So you can do voice typing. You can translate and you can highlight as well. So for example, if there was text in here, say for example, down the bottom here, I might have inserted, oh, there's a second picture there. Forgot about that. But let's just put, please provide some feedback. So maybe the student's written that, okay? I'm in a position where I can highlight that. And say, for example, there'd been a spelling mistake. I can highlight that word and I can highlight that in yellow. And I can have a clue or a key with the students to say that anything in yellow is going to be a spelling mistake. And it might be that they've spelled that wrong as well, okay? So again, I'd highlight that in yellow. What it enables me to do, and this is really cool, is it enables me to collect the highlights. So if I collect highlights, I want to collect only those colors. So I'm just going to collect the yellow ones because those were the spelling mistakes. I click OK, and a new document is automatically being created for me, which are all of the spelling mistakes from this image created by this person. So I can then share that back with them and say, look, these are the key words you keep spelling wrong. These are the ones you need to work on. So that's nice and personalized as well, because it's specific to them, but dead easy to do. You can also, using the same thing, if I just close that for a second and go back to this baby image, we can also from here, just click here and it will create a vocabulary list for me as well in one sitting. So it's got the feedback and the provide, and it might ask them then, okay, I might correct the spellings, and I might ask them to go away and find out the meanings of them, you know, a symbol to go with them and add any notes that they want to. So if they've got to learn particular terminology, again, with one click, you can personalize your feedback to those students. But what you can also do is leave a voice note. So for example, here, I might say, right, I want some work done on these. So I can send this, share this vocabulary list with the student. I can click up here and I can say, hi there, Richard. These were the two words you spelt wrong during your work. I've corrected them for you, but I'd like you to go back and just find a dictionary definition of them for me, please. Try and come up with a symbol that you think would represent those, a pictorial icon, and then add any further comments you want to in the notes section. And I just click the done button and insert. And it will hopefully work quite quickly.
I've got to say, this read and write is my favourite way of giving student feedback, I think, because everything's built into one here, isn't it? It's always, you know, the gift.
It seems to have got a little bit stuck at the moment. It's probably still processing that. So you can play it back. Hi there, Richard. These are the two words you spelt wrong during your work. I've corrected them for you, but I'd like
Oh, I think Darren might have frozen out there. We'll just give him a second to jump back in. But as I was saying there, read and write is something that our school or our sort of, we call it a trust here in the UK or district for you guys, but this is something that we use, started using a lot of it. You've got a free version and you've got a paid version, of course, but we've purchased it as a district or as a trust, and we've been using it loads over the last 2 months, and I'm not going to say I'm an expert in using it because I'm not. But it's definitely a really fantastic tool, and I can't wait to start using this for students come September for sure. Having that vocab list is amazing, and I'm aware I've just popped on screen really big there. So we'll just wait for Darren to drop back in. But in the meantime, in the chat, do you want to drop in your favourite way of giving student feedback or personalised feedback to your students? I think read and write is probably one of my favourite ones. And also probably another favourite one of mine, which I know Darren's going to go through a little bit later on, is things like Screencastify or WeVideo. But probably my all-time favourite has got to be Flipgrid. I know anyone that's watching this has seen me do any Flipgrid presentations before knows I'm really passionate about it. It's one of the tools I'll definitely take away from lockdown and I'll definitely use afterwards. So it's going to be, I look forward to using that afterwards. I've just seen Stuart's question in the chat there. So do you need to install the extension for all users for it to work? Yes, I believe so. We've pushed it out from our domain side. So we've pushed it out to all students and all staff. So I believe you would need to have that rolled out to everyone to be able to use it in its full capacity. So that's for sure. And Michelle, definitely the same. Love that new Flipgrid. It's a brilliant interface. So we'll just wait for Darren to reappear. His computer's probably just crashed in all the heat and the storms that's going on here in the UK. We're looking at about 35 today. I don't know what the temperature is now here. I believe it's about 20 at the moment. It feels a lot hotter than that, I've got to say, here in school. So maybe I'll pull up something here, see if I can get another account up, and I'll go through the next one with everybody. Give me just 2 seconds here, guys. I wasn't expecting to do this. Right, so I'll give you a little hint to next week's session actually, because it's something that we would go through in this session for personalising feedback. Something called Moat. So we've got a session on next week. And here's Darren back. Computer crash again, did it?
Something did, yeah. Yeah, it didn't lock out.
That's right, mate. Well, I held the fort for you. It's all good.
So I presume you were just saying that we've got Will coming in next week, yeah? Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, we're just chatting about some of my favourite way to give feedback, but I just thought I'd give it a plug to next week's session on Moat with Will. So
yeah, absolutely. So where did I drop out?
So you just gone into you're on read and write, and you had the vocab list open, and then it sort of dropped out just towards the end of that bit there.
Right. Okay. So let me just open up my screen again on the other one. So wrong one. Apologies. Too many accounts. Here we go. So on this particular document, we had the read and write. Like I said, it's an extension. There is a free version which doesn't have the full suite of tools, but obviously through our trust we've got the full thing. So we got as far as the vocab list, yeah?
Oh, sorry. No, actually, I tell a lie. It was the insert voice note. It cut out halfway through the voice note.
Okay, so insert your voice note. You just click on the voice note, just record it as you normally would, and then you can just insert it and it sits in the document for you. The other bit that I was demonstrating to myself, and I thought it was really impressive, was the practice reading aloud, okay? So if I highlight some text here and I click on this final icon, practice reading aloud, it opens up a new section for me where students themselves can practice reading aloud and record themselves. And when they're happy, then send it directly to their teacher. So obviously there's some spelling mistakes in this. So I'm just going to pretend that I'm a student doing this, and I'm not a particularly confident reader. Okay. Please provide some feedback, sir. I can stop that. I can play it back. Please provide some feedback, sir. Oh no, I don't like that. I sound terrible. Let me record that again. Please provide some feedback, sir. Let's listen to that again. One. Please provide some feedback, sir. Oh, that's much better. Then I just click the little paper aeroplane, and it will give me the option to send it to my teacher. And it will find the list of teachers from within your domain for you, as long as it's all set up and installed and everything else. So we will find other teachers that are working. In this case, it's me. So I can choose to send that to this teacher. Bang, the recording gets sent, and I get an email that's sent directly to my inbox of this student practicing their reading. So even when you're not face-to-face, you can get students to practice their reading aloud, whether it's fiction or non-fiction, with an audience. Even if there's no one at home that's got the time or the inclination to listen to them read, they can still do it with you. And it's quite a nice way to pass the time as well. So read and write, really, really awesome, okay? And really, really worth taking a good look at, because I think it's a fantastic tool, okay? So that's read and write. And obviously, as you were mentioning, next week, we've got Will Jackson, who's the co-founder and CEO of Moat, joining us for a special session all about Moat, the existing features and some new features that are coming our way, which look fantastic as well. Okay, so any questions on the voice feedback side of things, Ben?
Excuse me, not that I can see. I mean, there is, Stuart did ask whether we have to push out to all users for it to work. I believe that's what we've done.
Yeah, we've pushed it out to all students and staff because we bought it as a trust. However, you don't have to, but obviously if you do, the students have got it at their end as well then, so they can use the tools themselves. They can, for example, read and write, they can create their own vocab lists, and they can create, collate their own highlighting and everything else. So
they can provide their own vocab list as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we've had another one just come in at the bottom there, saying, can read and write be accessed via a web platform using mobiles?
I don't think
sure
so.
On that.
No, I think it has to be web-based. It works on Chromebooks, but I think it does have to be... I think
it has to be a computer or a laptop or some form. I don't think it does work on phones, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then another one just coming from Tammy, just asking about that voice note section, or that last bit you did on the read and write bar there. I can't remember the exact name of it. Will that be sent as a link to the teacher, that voice note, or is that gonna how does that come through in terms of to your inbox?
It comes through as an email.
An email, will it? It'll give you the link to that to the voice recording, then, will it?
Yeah, it goes directly to that and lets you know. Yeah.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Okay. So really good. Yeah. Okay. And paid version, off the top of my head for read and write, I can't fully remember. But if you go onto Text Help's website, just one word, Text Help, all of the prices are on there, and you get different deals depending on what packages you buy. So if you apart from read and write, they've also got things like Fluency Tutor and Equatio as well, which are all fantastic tools and really work.
The link to that website in the chat there for people as well.
Thanks, brilliant. Okay, should we move on to some visual feedback then?
Let's do it. Okay,
so we're going to look at 4 different ways of giving visual feedback. Okay, we're going to start with the one that probably most people are aware of, which is Screencastify. And this is, as a language teacher, one of the things I really like doing is giving visual and verbal feedback, because obviously I can deal with pronunciation with students, but I can also highlight particular areas that I want students to work on, or particular aspects or particular paragraphs. So I like to use screen records if I can, particularly when students have shared work with me remotely. So all I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to give Ben some feedback. I'm going to come up to the top of my toolbar here, and I'm going to click on my Screencastify, and it's just going to open up the little window there. It's going to give me a lot of options. So I've got the option for my microphone and whether I want my webcam to be embedded. So I can turn that on or off. I've also got more options here, like whether I want a countdown and whether I want to show drawing tools, whether I want just the webcam or whether I want just the browser. But I tend to go with desktop, microphone and webcam, and then countdown and the drawing tools. And I just click record. And it pops a little picture of me down here. I choose the screen I want to use. I can hide that at the bottom. So I'm now recording. I can move myself around so I can make sure I'm not in the way. I can resize myself as well if I need to. If I particularly want to make a point that I want the students to listen in on, I can drag it a little bit bigger or move it out of the way. This is why I particularly love doing this with slides as well, because you can place your video off of the slide itself and then you can move it through the video anytime you like. So for example, I might want to say, Ben, I really like this aspect here about staying at home. I love the fact you've used a Bitmoji. But this bit here, the 5 husbands, has got me a bit confused. I'm not quite sure what you meant by that. So can you give me a little bit of clarification, either in comments in the speaker's notes or in a second slide? Okay. And at any point, I can either stop that or I might even want to sort of, if I feel the need, to kind of draw a little arrow. And obviously I'm drawing with a mouse, so it's not perfect. But as soon as I'm done and I'm ready, I can click back on my pointer. I can hide my tools if I want to, and I just click stop up at the top here. And there are keyboard shortcuts you can use as well. So I'm going to stop recording that. I can listen to it back or restart it, but I'm not going to. What it will automatically do is open up
a new tab.
Except it hasn't.
And you've stitched me right up here with that 5 husbands. I definitely did not put that in there.
Oh, I think I did. And there we go. So here's my recording. Okay. Now it comes up untitled because that was the name of the document. So I'm just going to call this Ben Moore Feedback.
That's me.
1. Okay. Ben Moore Feedback 1. And you can see here, I've got lots of options. I can download it. At the moment, this is on mute. Okay. But obviously you can hear that as it's going along. So I can download it as a export as an MP4. I can export the audio only if I want to. I could even make a GIF out of it if I wanted to. That's hard G. Okay. I could publish it to YouTube, but of course I wouldn't. But I can share it to Classroom or share it to a Wakelet, or I could even, under more options, I could even maybe even turn it into an Edpuzzle and actually have students perform some peer assessment or some kind of understanding based on what's been done in the video. So some kind of sort of exit ticket, if you like, using Edpuzzle. So I've got those options, but all I'm going to do is click shareable link. I'm going to get that shareable link. I'm going to go back to Ben's aspect here. I'm going to click up here and I'm going to insert the comment and I'm just going to paste that Screencastify link in there. Okay. So that now has become a link to a video. Now that's not very obvious, but obviously you can adjust that and the students will click on it and it will take them directly to their video, okay, as soon as it's finished processing. Okay? If you're not happy with it just saying that, you can edit and actually say, you know, afterwards, please make sure you watch this, okay, and save it. And so on. Okay, so you can do that with Screencastify. The good thing about it, all of your videos automatically save into Google Drive, into your Screencastify folder. And obviously, it's really easy then to share it with students. And you've even got the option of snipping tools and things if you want to. So Screencastify is one really good option for doing that recorded feedback. However, Screencastify does only allow you up to 5 minutes. For a recording in the free version. Some people obviously have got the paid for version or used to have it because it was offered free during COVID. But, you know, it will only give you those 5-minute options. Now, 5 minutes is probably plenty for feedback, but you might want to consider something else if you want to create other videos as well that are a little bit longer. So the alternative to Screencastify, which I really like, is to use Loom. So I'm just going to close this. I'm going to open up your work again, Ben, okay? And this time I'm going to click on Loom, okay? Now, Loom again is an extension. You can also have it as a desktop app. But what you'll notice with Loom is, instead of the square, this time I've got a circle, which I think just looks a little bit nicer, okay? I've still got the options down here of the menu that I can see and everything else. And I've got the same options up here in terms of camera, screen, or screen and camera. And I can show my advanced options, so I can choose which camera I want to use. I can flip my camera around if it's mirrored, for example. I can use the photo if I want. I can have my control menu showing or not. You can see down the bottom left-hand corner, it disappears from next to the little circle. All right. And I can have my recording countdown if I want. So I'm going to do exactly the same as I've just done in Screencastify. You'll see it works slightly differently. So I'm going to hide my control menu, and I'm going to start recording. So I'm going to, again, choose the screen I want. Hide that at the bottom. Because I'm in a slightly smaller, round, nicer looking bubble, I can do the same as I did before here. I can move myself about the screen to give feedback, and I can sort of hold myself here and say, wow, Ben, saving lives is great, but pie and mash, fantastic. It's my favorite. However, for me, that pie is upside down. Should be top down, and the mash should be spread out properly, not put there in scoops. I don't agree with that at all. I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to pie and mash. And then I can move myself around. I can get rid of myself if I want to as well. But obviously, I can give any feedback I want in the same way as I've done with Screencastify. However, once I'm finished, and I can change the size of me, I can make myself bigger if I really want to draw attention to something. And that then blocks out the rest of the screen so that they have to pay attention. Okay, it's just going a little bit funny in a minute. And then I'll just go back to Loom. I hope. Look, the whirling wheel of death.
That's it. You're speaking really quick on the screen as well. It's almost like it's just catching up with what you're saying.
That's it. There we go. It looks like we're there now. So I'll click on the Loom button up at the top here, and it will stop. Again, it opens in a new window. Now, the advantage of Loom is that it's free for educators forever. Okay? And that's brilliant because you don't have to worry about ever paying for it. It automatically names it with whatever the actual document was that you were using it on. And you can see here, once it's fully processed, you'll have the version to download, but you'll also be able to duplicate it, delete it, share it, move it to a folder. You can trim it. You can put a call to action on it or put a custom thumbnail on it. You can choose your link sharing. You can add a password if you want so that only people with the password can actually view it. But up here, you can just copy the link. So I'm going to copy the link here. I'm going to drop it in to this place. In this time, I'm going to go, this one was to do with the pie and mash. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to copy that link and I'm going to drop it in there. Okay? And again, it goes in as a shareable link there. Doesn't show up as obvious. However, if, for example, you take that same link and you drop it into an email, this is what happens. So I'm just going to open up my email, which isn't at 0 at the moment. Been a busy day. If I compose an email, at some point, there we go. So, for example, I wanted to send this to Ben. There's his email. I could send here feedback. And if I copy and paste here, it initially puts it in as a link, but then you can see it reformats it to actually a little GIF version that you can click on directly and work and read directly from the email. So you've got it in 2 places particularly. I quite like the fact that it makes that nice and tidy automatically for you. Okay, and then of course you can share that, so you can just send it. So, but the other thing I really like about Loom is it will also tell you if your video has been watched, and it gives you a space underneath for people to record replies and things like that and comment, so you can get an ongoing dialogue going on that video. So now that Ben's been sent it, he would be able to watch it, comment under here. I'd be able to reply to that. I'd get an email to let me know my video's been watched so that you can see whether or not your feedback is being listened to. And I think that's a really important point for teachers, particularly when you're distance learning. You want to be able to see that actually somebody is taking the time to listen to or watch what you've been doing. So that's a really cool way of doing it as well. And then all of the videos you've made just automatically go into my videos as a folder here. And you can create your own subfolders and everything else. And you can make public folders and shared folders and create a new video and everything else. But as I say, as educators, we can get a free Loom account forever just through visiting the website and going that way. Okay, so that's using Loom. Now, the final thing I want to go through today is how we might use WeVideo to do a very similar thing. And it's not an obvious one that people might think of. So I'm going to jump to a different document this time. This was an if-then adventure that students started working on, where they brainstormed a setting, some characters and a plot, and started to come up with the start of a story. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to screen record using WeVideo, but I'm going to show you why I think it's really, really helpful. So I'm just going to open up a new tab and start WeVideo. There we go. There we go. Okay. And I'm not going to worry you too much about going into particular formats and all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to go straight into create a recording. Okay. And if you've not used WeVideo before, it is fantastic. Okay. I've got a choice of webcam, screen, or screen and webcam. And I'm deliberately going to go for screen and webcam because it allows us to do something quite cool. Okay. So I'm going to click next. I'm going to choose the camera I want to use, in which case this is the FaceTime camera. And I'm just going to click next, and I'm going to choose the window I want to use. In this case, I'm going to go entire screen on screen 1, and just hide that. So what I'm now going to do, I'm already screen recording. I'm going to bring in this particular window here. And what I would like to be able to do is give you guys some feedback on this. So first of all, I love the fact here that you've got 2 characters in your story, both quite different to each other, and you know, situated on a beach. I'd like to know a little bit more, so I'm going to put an orange on that. Anything I'm not really happy about, I'm going to put an orange on. Okay, guys. So a little bit more of information about that beach. We've got the camel has to rescue the dolphin who's become stranded. So one of the things I would say is, how has it become stranded? So start of the story, the camels heard a noise on the beach, saw a dolphin. One of the questions I might ask is, how does the camel know it's a dolphin? It might never have seen one before. Makes his way or her down, I think we need a decision on that, to the beach. Ask the dolphin how she got there. Which language are they speaking, this camel and the dolphin? Are they speaking the same language? What are they doing there? Okay? Need to be careful of these things. Don't assume because the dolphin and the camel are in the same place, they're going to speak the same language. Okay? This camel's found a piece of wood and a rope on the beach, and he ties the rope with these really fat hooves. That's impressive. Around the dolphin's tail and tries to pull him out of the water. I'd love to know what the dolphin's thinking at this point. I really would love to. So if you can include some of that, maybe some kind of outtakes to thought bubbles and things like that would be amazing. So I can come back to the bottom now. I come back to my WeVideo, and I'm going to stop sharing. Come back into my WeVideo screen, and it's what you can see is it's filmed the webcam and the screen on 2 separate tracks. That's what I love about this. Okay, so it now puts the screen on video 1 and myself on video 2. And what I can do now is I can click on myself. I can use the green screen color keying, and hopefully it will work. It's a little bit dark tonight, so it might not work brilliantly. Let's just grab that. Color key. There we go. There we go. So I can now take my background out. I can, again, if I want to, I can say, oh, I don't want to be there. So I double click again and I can change my position. So I can move myself around. If I come here to change the position. I can put myself right at the bottom. I can make myself larger if I want. I can kind of do whatever I want to do there in order to make myself stand out. I could scale myself up using it this way or not. It's entirely up to me. And because it's one long take, I can also put cutting segments in there. So I could, at this point, put a little snip in, and then at this point, another little snip in. And with this particular excerpt, everything else is going to be doing what I've just done. But with this one, if I double click on it, I might be able to zoom out a little bit with this one, move it over, and maybe even do something ridiculous like spin it around and upside down just to get people's attention. Okay? You can do all sorts of things with it because it's been recorded on a separate track. And then when you get past that, it comes back to the normal one. So what you end up with is a video where you can play it. So what I'm now going to do, I'm already screen recording. I'm going to bring in this particular window here. And what I would like to be able to do is give you guys some feedback on this. So first of all, I love the fact here that you've got two characters in your story, both quite different to each other, and you know, situated on a beach. I'd like to know a little bit more. So you can see there that it's jumping around, and you can play around with the length of the video. The good thing about this is you can edit it as well. And if you don't want yourself on screen at any point, you can just take yourself off, either by deleting it out, or again, if you like to say, for example, come here, you can show your levels of your video. Excuse me. There we go. And I might want to, for example, in this section here, not have myself on screen. I can put these little markers in and reduce the opacity of my video down to 0. And then what happens is if we play the video from here, you know, situated on a beach, I'd like to know a little bit more. And now disappear altogether. So I'll put an orange on that. Anything I'm not really... And if we just move it along a little bit. Noise on the beach. Saw a dolphin. One of the questions I might ask is... Okay, so it gives you control over when you're on screen and when you're not, really, really easily, after you've done it. And the problem with Screencastify or Loom is you have to kind of be able to do it at the time. What you can also do, of course, is you can record yourself previously just doing lots of different pointing with the green screen, but not speaking, and then use that as an excerpt. So, for example, we might want to chop off the end of this. So I'm just going to delete that section there. I want to add in some pointing. So I'm going to come back up to record again. This time I'm just going to use webcam. I'm going to go next. I'm going to grab my FaceTime camera, start recording. So you can create little kind of short video clips like that. Again, you just save them and drop them in. It automatically puts it into your video, and then you can just drag it up onto the top screen. Place it wherever you want. Once again, you can green screen and color key that out. Okay, you might want to change the sizing again, like you said. So you might want to reduce it down a little bit. Maybe move yourself down to the corner, save those changes. And then you can kind of have yourself pointing. And obviously the light's getting a bit dodgy now because it's getting late. But you get the idea. So you can have yourself pointing, doing all sorts of things really, really easily. And then all you need to do when you're finished is click finish, give your video a title. So let's call this Ben 1. Set that title. You get a choice of whether you want to export it as a video, audio, or as a GIF. Of course, if it's a GIF, there's no sound. And you get a choice of SD or HD. You can record it to WeVideo or direct to your Google Drive or direct to Dropbox. But one of the other things I really love about it before we do this is what you can also do is where that is silent, I'm going to, over here, add another video track. Okay. And I'm going to bring in some text. And you can very easily create your own subtitles because you can click on the sample text here. and you can start to type in what you'd like. You can change the font color. You can shrink the text to fit. You can change the background color so it sticks out, and the font color again, so that sticks out. We might want to reduce that down. We could even change the whole box. There we go. We could stretch it to be a subtitle bar across the top. Okay, and at the moment it says I'd like to know. A little bit small there, so make it a bit bigger. Okay, we make the text a little bit bigger. Let's go with, there we go to 56. So I click Save Changes. That whole period there is going to say I'd like to know. And all I need to do is watch the video through. I'd like to know, stop it, clip it, go back in, change the text. What the dolphin, change the text, there we go, is, and hopefully spell it right, it does help, save that, then let snip again, come back in, is thinking all this time, okay? And save changes. And what you then get at the end of your video is your own subtitles as well. So really handy way of making it nice and simple. Then you just click finish and export. And it's as simple as that. And it's done and dusted in a couple of minutes, and you'll get a shareable link, or you can download it and upload it into your drive yourself if you want to as well. But if you've automatically set it to go to your drive, as long as that drive folder is shared with everyone, you can share that with students directly and they can watch that video back really simply. Okay, so that's how you can use WeVideo as well to give personalized visual feedback. Okay,
brilliant. That's definitely, I'm just looking through. Everyone's looking like they're loving this WeVideo, and that's great to see because it shares my passion, and I know your passion for it as well. You know, we both.
Yeah.
So it's great to see everybody in the chat. You know, really enjoying that. I've posted a couple of links for different bits and pieces as we've gone through.
Yeah.
Everybody. But what I've also done in the background whilst you've been chatting, Darren, is all the links we've sort of gone through. I've collated them into a Wakelet collection, which I'm just going to post in the chat now for everybody. So if you've missed the links going through, you know, see this link I'm just about to post, and you'll see all the extensions Darren's gone through today, and all links I shared with you in the chat will be in this one Wakelet. So feel free to nab any of those and use any of those that you need to.
Yeah.
And you know, I think it's definitely, for me, WeVideo out of all the ones you went through today is probably my favourite one, because it's just so intuitive and you can do so much with it. And to be honest, you don't really need to know a lot about movie editing or anything like that, really, to give it a go and be creative. You know, that's what I love about it. You don't have to be a professional movie editor and all the rest of it.
No, that's it.
It's so simple.
I mean, as you well know, Ben, prior to March, I'd never edited a video in my life.
Yeah.
And as people know, you know, we've now a group of us have now been recording and editing videos for the Google Junior Training Series, using things like Screencastify and Loom, but then editing them in WeVideo as well. And Google are now publishing those, so they're obviously of a very good quality that Google are happy for them to go out. So you know, you can go from sort of 0 to 60 in very, very short period of time. Because the training materials, I know you've mentioned those, the training materials and the support communities are fantastic as well at answering questions and giving you a steer on what you can and can't do.
Okay? Definitely, yeah. And you know, I think it's worth mentioning, just while we're on the topic of WeVideo, you know, most of you guys would have heard me say this before, but, you know, I was used to using Final Cut Pro before I used WeVideo, and that's, for anyone who doesn't know, that's the Mac version, the sort of the paid-for Mac version of a movie editor. So it's a bit better than iMovie, and it's actually quite expensive at £300. So I paid for that to use before WeVideo, and now that WeVideo is free and I can use it on any device rather than just on my Mac. I've not even opened Final Cut since lockdown. I've just used WeVideo, you know, and that, if that's any consolation to any of you guys, I paid for this program which I'm no longer using. So
yeah, it makes us feel better.
Yeah, that's it. So, it just goes to show how good this program is, and there's plenty of opportunity to learn on how to do that through our PD challenges as well, which I've put in the way.
It's important to mention as well, though. WeVideo is a paid-for service, but there is a free version. However, with the free version, you are limited to how many minutes you can publish, and you do get a watermark image in the corner of your video. But if that's not going to bother you, then it's absolutely free. And if it is going to bother you, actually, it's such a great tool and so versatile. I probably use it every single day.
I use it every other. It must be every other day for me. It's probably I don't do as much as you, Darren. I don't know how you fit it all in personally, but I do a fair amount. So
there's two of me. That's what it is.
That's it. Yeah.
All right.
But I mean, if there's no obvious questions in the chat, I mean, if anybody has got any questions, please do pop them in, or feel free to reach out to us on Twitter on our handle on the screen, and we'll try and answer them for you.
Really good point made by Luis there. Thanks for that, Luis. So, the good thing about WeVideo is as well, it will work on practically any device. It works on Chromebooks. You don't have to have anything installed. I've got it on my phone, and it works pretty well there as well. Just on Android. Really, really versatile. But like you say, next week we follow up with a session on Moat, which is going to be really exciting, I think, because lots of people are big fans of Moat. I'm very fortunate to be a Moat ambassador. But Will, who's the CEO and co-founder, is joining us next week. They've been doing a lot of work on Moat, and there's some really exciting features on the roadmap, and some coming very, very soon that he'll tell us more about next week.
And the best bit is it follows on from this session about giving feedback. So it's almost like we're running a sort of a mini series here without even realising it. So
absolutely, yeah. Without yep. Brilliant.
Right. Well, thanks so much for everybody again for joining us tonight. Hopefully you get a bit cooler if you're here in the UK in the next few days. We look forward to seeing you again next week back here on Short and Sweet.
That's it. And next week's one's already on the YouTube channel. So if you want to click on it and set your reminder, do that now, and then you'll get your reminder pop up sort of 10 minutes beforehand. Okay?
Definitely.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.